Hello YouTube. Today we're going to look at P6 resourcing. We're going to create a new resource, assign that resource to the project, to an activity, do some resource analysis, level the resources, and then look at resource costs. In P6 there are 3 steps involved in resource assignment. Step 1 is create a role, assign the role to the activity, step 2, and then step 3, convert from a role to a resource. Here we are in P6 in the new car project. We'll just have a look at the resource dictionary, which we can get to by clicking on the resource tab. The resource dictionary pops up, and you can see that we have the resources organized by ID, name, type, standard rate, etc. The ones we're going to be concentrating on today are the ones in the engineering area. They're the ones that we're going to be allocating to our new car project. And in particular, Jeff Young, Wendy Resner, Paul Kim. And I'll just show you how to add a resource into the resource dictionary. So it's pretty easy. We're in the resource area, so we go up to the top right, white cross, hit the add button. It'll change the filtering so that we can see all resources, and it will bring up a wizard to help us create our new resource. So we'll use the wizard. You don't have to, you can turn it off and just do it manually if you want. Resource ID, we'll call it TH. The name will be Tim Hood. Go next. What type of resource is it? Labor, non-labor, or material? We're going to have a person, so it will be labor. To the next screen, price per unit. So what rate are we going to charge them at? And we'll say we'll charge them at $40 an hour. Default units of time is 8 hours a day, which is fine, and our maximum units of time is 8 hours a day. So that's all good. Next screen. Could put a phone number and an email if we wanted to. We won't bother at the moment. The role. What role is the new Tim Hood going to be? Well, he's going to be the same as our other people. So he's going to be in the engineering department. So we'll assign him a role. Assign. And we'll need to change the filter so that we can see all roles that are currently in the roles dictionary. We have 2 dictionaries, a roles dictionary and a resource dictionary. And we'll say that he is an electrical engineer. So we assign that to him. Close the dialog. We can give him a proficiency as well if necessary, from master to inexperienced. Call him skilled, and we'll say if he's got a number of roles, then you have to designate which one is the primary. As he's only got one, then that's it. Next, which calendar are we going to do? Select an existing calendar, and we'll put him on the 5-day work week, the standard one. Typically, each resource, each person would have their own unique calendar, but here we'll just give a generic one for the moment. Auto computer, do not. We'll leave it on auto for the moment. Talk about that later. Congratulations, we finish, and there you see Tim Hood is now in the list with all the necessary information there. So that's how you create a resource. Now we're going to assign a resource. So we have to go back to the activities window. Notice I've put in a column for resources. Always a good idea when you're actually doing the resourcing. I have the column there so you can clearly see them go in. You do have a tab down the bottom for resources if we go there. The idea being that you would select an activity and then hit the add a resource button. The way Primavera works is that you're supposed to put a role in first, and then when you're closer to the job being done, then you would convert the role to a resource using the Assign by Role button. But we'll go directly to add a resource. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the same resource on all of the activities with durations. You don't put resources on milestones because there's no work to be done. So I'll put the same one on the level of effort, which is happening every day, 10:20, 10:30. So I'll just go down and highlight all these. And when I'm going to do a block allocation of a resource to activities, I can use the area over to the right, the icons to the right. Because I've chosen multiple activities, that is, notice that the tabs down below in the resource box are all grayed out because they only ever apply when you've got one activity highlighted. We've got multiples, so I have to use the icons on the right. The little blue man on the right there is the resource icon, so I hit that. And I get the dialog box for resources, and I choose the appropriate one. Remember, we're going to just be using these engineering people. So I'll put Jeff Young into all of these activities. So I click the green cross, and you see Jeff Young goes in to the column there, into every activity. And notice that a budget has now been created because Jeff Young has a rate, so many dollars per hour. And here we've got a duration of 25 days. So 25 times 8 times whatever his rate is will give you 12,600 for each activity. Add them all up, and the total cost of our resource is 201,600. So as you add resources, the costs will be accumulating in your project. Okay, so that's Jeff added to everything. Once you put resources in, then at some stage you're going to have to see if they're correctly allocated, or in other words, not over allocated. So we utilize an icon on the top icon bar called the resource usage profile. Click on that, and that will bring up this area down the bottom of the screen showing the information about the resources. Now you have to tune this a little bit. At the moment we're displaying all resources, so it's a good idea to filter it down to current project, so you're only looking at the current project resource, and display open projects only. There's a show all projects ticked on there. If we tick that off, then we're able to see current situation for Jeff Young in this particular project. I've got budgeted units and allocated units here. I'm just going to change that a little bit by right-clicking, going to the profile options, and then saying that we don't want to see budgeted at the moment, or it's cumulative. We haven't got any actuals, so there's no point in looking at actuals at the moment. So we'll see that. I don't need to see the legend anymore, so I'll go to the graph tab and turn off the show legend. Apply that. Have a look. Yep, that's good. Say OK. So this profile is telling us for any point along the calendar what the situation is. So we can see we've got red here, so we know that we've got over allocation of Jeff. And you can probably see why that is. We've got him working on every activity, but we've also got him working on the project admin level of effort, and that's causing the double up. So if we take him off that one that should fix our problem. So let's do that. Let's highlight the project admin, go to the resource icon over here. There is Jeff Young, and I'm going to remove him from this particular activity. So I use the little icons on the right, the red one, red cross, remove, click, are you sure? Yep. And Jeff has gone. Close the dialog, and notice in the resource usage profile that the red has now disappeared, and he's now all green up to his maximum of 40 hours a week. He works 8 hours a day, 5 it's 40. And that's what we hope to see, all green. Obviously, in more complex projects, you'll be allocating many resources. So this profile here is very useful for spotting over allocations and then figuring out a way to get around it and fix it. We'll look at resource leveling now, which is essentially what we just did, making sure that nobody's over allocated. So I'll artificially engineer an over allocation here by changing the relationship on the last activity here. So instead of being a finish to start, I'll make it a start to start here, and that will cause a duplication of Jeff, and then we'll let the computer figure out how to fix it. So I highlight that. I need to go back to my tabs, so I go up to the icon bar, I choose the details icon, that brings back my tabs. I look for the relationships tab, and I'm on 1080, which is going to 1090 in a finish to start. I'll make that now a start to start. You can see in the Gantt chart the arrow has changed there. Now it won't automatically come back until I manually schedule. So I go up to my scheduling button, click on that. 21 July is good. So I hit schedule, and we're expecting this to come back. And it does come back into a start to start relationship. So we've got Jeff working on this one and this one, so he's doing doubling up again. So if I went back to my resource usage profile view, I would see that in that time period, yep, he's got red. He's working 80 hours on all those particular weeks. So that's what we've got to fix. So I'm going to let the computer have a go at fixing this, doing resource leveling. So I come up to the Tools menu item, get the full drop down. Resource leveling is the second option down. Level resources, you get this big box popping up. By default, it has level all resources turned on, which is not a good idea. So we'll turn that off, and then we'll select the resource we want to level. Do it one at a time. It's a lot easier to understand. And there's Jeff Young, so he's the one we want to focus on. So OK to that. Just Jeff. There are several other parameters you can use when leveling, but we'll just keep it simple at the moment. So what's going to happen is that the computer will figure out how to fix Jeff's problem here. So we hit level, and the computer will do its thing. Boom, and the computer delays that activity until Jeff is available. So it's put it back to the original position, in other words. The thing with leveling in P6 is that it is a suggestion. It's not a complete fix. If you like the solution that's been suggested, then you have to take steps to keep that activity in its current position. So you'd either have to put in lag to delay that activity to its current position, or you would have to put in a constraint to say I want that activity to start no earlier than whatever it is, sometime in March. We'd have to expand the timescale a bit and see exactly what that date was. And then we'd have to come into our tabs, find the status tab, go to constraints, put a constraint on 1090 to say that it was going to start on or after the particular date. So we'd have to do that in order to fix that activity in its current position. If we don't do anything when we reschedule, it will simply come back to its original position. So that's leveling, and if we wanted to manually fix this, then we'd simply go and put this as a finish to start, and that would fix it. No problem at all. Resource costs, we've already kind of mentioned that the costs are generated from putting the resource onto the activity. If you go back to the resource dictionary, you can see there's a column I've got in place at the moment showing the standard rate for all the resources. So Jeff Young is on $63 an hour. These prices are controlled in the tab down below, the units and prices. And you can see that from a certain date, a rate can be given. So I could add another date, say right from this new date, and that date can be whatever I choose. He's going to be on not 63, but say 70. So from that date, he will be on 70. So we can profile the costs forward in time. And if your project lasts several years, the resource costs will be reasonable if you add 4% per year for inflation, say. So that's how we do our resource costing. The next training video will involve looking at optimization of resources, time, and money. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.